Years ago, Dubai was the place to go for Irish property investors, with the UAE city offering sun, sea, sand and boundless opportunities for those with money to spend.
But that was then, and this is now. Pascal Brown is just one of 200 Irish investors in the Dubai Sports City development. He spent €150,000 on 2 apartments in the complex, but 7 years on, they've never been built, and he's nothing to show for his money.
In 2005, everybody was buying in Spain and, Portugal, Bulgaria. Dubai was also a place out there as well. It's a beautiful place. We've been there before, we've seen it. Lovely people. And we decided, it was heavily advertised at that time as well, And we went over, we had a look. We thought, this is a great place. At that stage, we couldn't buy property in Ireland because, we thought prices were getting high, and it's time we can buy abroad. So we decided to buy in Dubai at that time. We're married with 3 kids, and it was somewhere to bring our kids and then, pass down, have a property there for them. Obviously that didn't come true. About 7 years down the line, still a hole in the ground. We've paid, this 65% of the money was paid on, and this was, we were trying to get answers for 3 years, and, if we have to go over, if we have to get an answer, you have to physically fly over to Dubai for half an hour, ask one question, and then you're back in the plane.
And Pascal joins us now together with Tony Hines, who also invested in the development. You're both very welcome along to the show today. Tell us, what was it about Dubai, and particularly this development, that you were attracted to, Pascal?
I think Dubai is a beautiful place. We've been there before. It's all year sun. It's the dream. When we were over there, some people like Spain, Bulgaria, Portugal. Dubai is just another place, but it's an absolutely beautiful place. Well, it'll be even nicer when it's finished.
Had you been there before you decided to invest?
Yes, I was there before.
See,
and unfortunately after.
Yeah. The thing that we have to remember, Tony, is that in 2005 it was a different economic world we were living in, and if you were looking to buy a holiday home abroad, if you were fortunate enough to be in a position, Spain was a lot dearer than places like Dubai would have been.
Absolutely, and property in Ireland as well was very expensive, and real estate, well, just seemed to be a good investment. Still is, I think, but I mean, my reason for buying in Dubai is slightly different. I have a business that actually, it's in the sports business. I build golf greens, synthetic short game practice areas. The internet is unbelievable. I was getting a lot of inquiries from Dubai. So I was looking at setting up business out there as well. So there was a double reason for me buying there.
You were looking for a base and somewhere to live.
Yeah, somewhere to live and an investment, all tied into one.
Right, so what did you purchase over there? Where did you put your money?
I bought a 2-bed apartment in Dubai Sports City. And same as Pascal and all the rest of the members of our group, there's about 4 blocks by one developer. And we're in different blocks actually, but it's all within Dubai Sports City, which is a master development which was set up by the Dubai government.
So how much money was that you were investing there?
Me, in total out there, I've invested about €250,000.
Right, okay.
Always. That's a lot of money. And you were in the region of about 150.
150. The 200 members totals 20 million.
Yeah. It's incredible. Where were you? Like anybody buying a house, in a lot of cases, you're buying off plans, you're buying off pictures. So where was your apartment going to be? What block was it in?
It was a block. It was called Eagle Heights. It was on just on a golf. It was just the golf green was just right beside it.
Okay.
And the canal one side. It's beautifully located, But
it's actually a great development. It's it really is. Like, they've got this nice canal running through the centre of it. They've got shops and malls, golf courses, you have football stadiums, you have...
So what were you shown before you decided to invest that money? It's an awful lot of money. You must have been promised quite a bit.
Absolutely. We were shown the master plan, which incorporated all of this. And, with the success they've had in building other areas out there, there was no doubt in my mind that they were going to finish this.
I had heard about this because there was a part of the development was going to be a tie-in with the Manchester United Academy.
Right. Correct, yeah.
So kids would have been itching and trying to encourage their parents to bring them there just for the chance to spend a week or two.
That was a big sales point.
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen anymore.
Pascal, you both made this investment in 2005.
For me,
When was it that the alarm bells began to ring?
It was around 2008. The Sports City should have been finished, you know, the whole Sports City should have been finished
January 2008, our apartment should have been handed over. Mm-hmm. But there were some legitimate delays tied into the projects because infrastructure changes and things like that. So there was, I think there was 9 months allowable delays tied into the contracts.
And you were okay with that?
Absolutely,
No issues with that?
No problem with that.
During this time, who was your point of contact?
Would have been a company called Larionova.
Okay.
Okay.
And what happened, Larionova?
They closed up. They were on.
That's when the alarm bells went off, really. They went into
No warning to
liquidation. And no warning for anybody. They were still doing business a day before they wound up, closed the doors. They were still ringing people looking for, you know, payments or whatever. And they just disappeared. And then we had nobody to turn to in Ireland, like.
Now, Larionova were the agents for developers over there. But Larionova and Grant Thornton, the liquidators, have said that your money would have gone, they took a commission, but your money would have gone to the developers.
Yeah, we don't dispute that, except in maybe 1 or 2 cases in the last couple of days. There is a few of our members who actually made payments the day before. I know one in particular anyway that made a payment the day before, and we don't know where that went, you know.
Right, okay,
So,
but in terms...
But other than that, yes, we're quite happy that our funds did go to Dubai, to the developer.
Okay. Okay. So Tony, what has happened, and why has no stone been turned?
Well, I mean, there was the economic meltdown all over the world, which, and unfortunately or fortunately, our developments were financed in an unusual way out of sales. There's no bank debt on our developments, which is in one sense is good, because if there was, we'd be gone a long time ago, you know.
Okay.
So we've actually talked to the sub-developer who still wants to build out, and he's trying to get us on board to see, will we, you know, give him extended build-out periods. And obviously we're out of contract, but the main reason, or one of the main reasons we're out of contract, is because the delays by the master developer in all the infrastructural changes and things like that have caused delays for the sub-developers who had to wait for things to happen. So we're all tied in together, the master developer, the sub-developer and the investors. And, you know, we'd be very happy to take our money back.
So the developers are saying to you, look, our hands are tied because this is part of a bigger development in which the government is funding this whole sports project, if you like.
It's part of the Dubai Land Master Plan.
Sure. And what the government did, the developers say, was sold pieces of land, and that's where you invested.
And we didn't buy just one
apartment.
apartment. Yes, exactly. And we didn't buy one apartment in the middle of nowhere. We bought it as part of a master plan. Of the Dubai Sport City Master Plan.
But you're taking issue not with the developers, but with the UAE government on this one, Tony.
Absolutely, because, I mean, if they don't finish what they promised, we bought into their master plan, and we want them to finish what they promised.
Yeah. Now
well, we did get in touch with them, and they replied to us and said, our apologies, they apologised for not coming back to us when we first wrote to them. But they said, in relation to your query, we would like to clarify, as under the Dubai Sports City development is mainly a private investment and the government has no involvement in this project. This is indeed a mega private project which will be completed in the due course of time. It is delayed for the time being due to economic crisis all over the world as well as in Ireland, and the investors are advised to contact RERA, the Real Estate Regulatory Agency, or to take up their cases to the court with their solicitors. And that comes from the Embassy of the United Arab Emirates in Dublin.
So it appears that the plan isn't necessarily scrapped, but what they seem to be saying, a bit like here,
delayed.
It's been put on the long finger. Are you willing to wait on this one, Pascal?
I think we've waited too long. At this stage, 7 years, and we've been just told all the time, like, for example, if we want an answer from ARERA, we physically have to fly over to Dubai, you know, and for a 30-second interview. And like Tony's been over there 5 times.
5 or 6 times now. Because they don't do email, they don't do phone calls, you know, so I have to fly to get answers.
Yeah, they don't do emails. Yeah. There was one case when you went over and you had to wait 2 days before they would see.
That's right, yeah.
It's a real catch-22. You've got 200 other investors, Irish investors, and some people watching this may say, well, you know, you're in business, you made an investment, that just hasn't happened for you. But there are people, Pascal, as you were telling us, who have worked all their lives and decided, as they headed into retirement, to perhaps buy a home in a warmer country.
That's right, Martin. I'm quite young now, as it is. I can get over this. But there's a lot of people in our group who I represent are old-age pensioners. And there is young families there that have young kids that borrowed on the strength of this, you know, from their house. And the banks were giving loans for this. But, you know, when I look back and I look at the meetings we have and I see the old-age pensioners, the stress, they're sitting at the back, near tears. They don't know what to do. They've put everything into they've put their pensions into this. And the only way they can get answers is coming to us. That's why we set this group up, you know. So, you know, they have nowhere to go.
We don't want to exist as a group. It's just we created ourselves because we couldn't get answers. So we had to, you know, when we meet someone like Pascal and he's the similar experience, I couldn't get answers anywhere. I rang the RERA offices in Dubai. No one would answer the phone. You're on, you know, it's expensive to ring Dubai as well.
And looking back now, Tony, do you see where there were points that maybe you should have got a bit more information, maybe you should have seen more progress earlier on this? Are there things now that you say, yeah, look, I should have been aware of that,
well,
maybe my eyes should have been a bit more open?
Yeah, absolutely, you're now looking backwards, but I did a due diligence on it, and I don't even want to go into that because, you know, I believe people showed things to me that, but, you know, there's no point in going down that route. I want to move forward. I want either my money back or the keys to my apartment. And I'd like it sooner rather than later. I don't want to wait until 2020.
You formed this action group. There's 200 of you in it, as you're saying, and you've already picketed the embassy, the UAE embassy. What's the plan from here? What are you going to do on it, Pascal?
Well, we're here now, so we're getting media attention. You know, we have a few things, like, you know, we haven't been treated with respect over there. Yeah, as I say, Tony's gone over 5 or 6 times.
Well, there are cultural differences too, like, you know, so I don't want to step on anyone's toes there, but, I mean, the message I'd like to get out to now is to get Dubai Sports City to meet us investors. We're part of this whole development, and they won't communicate with us. They're saying it's nothing to do with us.
So you just want, what would you like the government to say to you now?
Well, even without going into telling them what they did wrong here, like, you know, a lot of the delays that pushed us out of contract were caused by the government and by the master developer. Even forgetting that, at this point in time, I would take the keys of an apartment. Whatever it's worth, I will take the keys of it.
Okay. We've run out of time on this, but, you know, you were promised sun, moon and stars. You went there recently and all you saw was a hole in the ground.
If I could just say, you know, Sheikh Matoumi, he's probably the largest landowner in Ireland. You know, so if we were to go to court in Dubai, it would cost every individual, we can't take it as a group, it would cost us €50,000 to take this to court in Dubai.
They do tell you to go to court if you have an issue, but our contracts, which are written by the master developer to the government, actually say you have to go to the Dubai Arbitration Centre.
So right now you're not willing to go down the legal route.
Who wants to go to court? I really don't anyway. Like,
if I was to go to court, it'd be in an Irish court system, and it would be, you know, as I say, Sheikh Matoumi, he's the largest landowner.
I'd like to meet Sheikh Maktoum, and ask him, is he sanctioning this type of behaviour over there? And what has he got to say about it? It was his dream. It was his dream, and we bought into it. And he's a man of vision. And he seems to be a positive person, and I'd like to meet him and ask him straight to his face.
Well, hopefully you'll get some settlement on it. It's not just, as say, you two. There's 200 investors in total, and €20 million is an awful lot of money. So hopefully you will get some closure on this. So thank you both very much for coming in, and we'll be keeping an eye on the story.
Thanks.